If you're hearing a beep, a ring, or a high-pitched tone that won't go away, this episode will change your life. Hear me out. Tinnitus is one of aging's most frustrating and misunderstood symptoms. It disrupts sleep, focus, and peace of mind, and over 25 million older adults live with it every day. Even if your ears feel quiet now, there's a 30% chance you'll develop it after the age of 60. That's why this episode matters. Because today, Japan's oldest doctor will show you a simple 30-second tap exercise designed to calm the nerve signals behind tinnitus, and it is simpler than you think. Welcome back to the Senior Health Podcast, where East meets West help you stay steady, clear, and independent. Today, we're uncovering how blocked ears, nerve tension, and distorted signals can make tinnitus louder, and how you can still interrupt that cycle. Because according to research published by the American Academy of Otolaryngology, excessive earwax affects nearly 1 in 3 adults over 65 and can significantly distort sound transmission. When that distortion combines with nerve stress, the brain can misread the signal and amplify it as ringing, even when no sound is present. So sitting across from me is Japan's oldest physician, someone who has spent nearly a century studying how small physical imbalances turn into big symptoms as we age. Today, he'll show you exactly what your ears and nerves need.
Thank you, John. It's always a pleasure. Let me ask everyone listening something simple. Have you ever noticed ringing in your ears and assumed it was just age? Very often, it's not age at all. It's a signal being distorted before it ever reaches the brain.
This feels like the right moment for listeners to reflect. If this topic is important, please stay with us and comment a 1. We will dive into the exercise right away.
John, that subtle ringing is one of the most overlooked warning signs in older adults. As wax builds up in the ear canal and nerve signals become overstimulated, the brain struggles to separate real sound from interference. And the worst thing is that most seniors are told it's permanent, but in many cases it's not. So today, I'll show everyone a simple 30-second tapping method designed to reset the auditory nerve and explain how to safely clear earwax first for optimal results. This method is simple, but timing and order matter, so I encourage everyone to stay with us until the end.
It reminds me of a man in his late 60s who came in frustrated by constant ringing. We discovered long-standing earwax buildup that had been distorting sound for years. After clearing his ear canal and practicing the tapping method you'll learn today, the ringing eased. Within weeks, it faded into the background of his life.
It's remarkable, isn't it? When physical blockage is removed and the nervous system is given the right signal, the body often knows how to quiet itself.
And that's exactly where I'd like to go next, before we demonstrate the exercise itself. Doctor, when the ear canal is clear and we stimulate the auditory nerve directly, what signal is being reset? And why can that simple input reduce the ringing so many seniors hear?
It starts with the nerves, specifically the auditory nerve that carries sound signals to the brain. But if the ear canal is blocked even slightly, that signal could become distorted, like trying to hear through a wall.
So even the best exercises won't help if the ears aren't physically clear, right?
Sometimes yes, even thin wax can interfere with vibration and confuse the auditory signal, especially in seniors.
And the problem is that most seniors don't realize it's there. It makes me wonder how much tinnitus is really just a blocked or distorted signal. So before we begin, please explain how we can remove earwax safely.
Well, John, that's where today's sponsor, B-Bird, comes in. B-Bird is a company known for their professional visual ear care tools, specifically for seniors. And I want to highlight their newest device, the EarSight Ultra X, which is designed to make ear cleaning safe, controlled, and easy to do at any age, just at home.
That's promising. What makes this device different from the cotton swabs or older tools people may have tried?
Visibility. The EarSight Ultra X uses a high-resolution 4K camera, giving you a clear, real-time view of the ear canal on your phone, so instead of dangerous guessing, you see exactly where wax needs to be removed. The device also has a soft, flexible tip with adaptable bending to follow the shape of the ear and built-in depth control so you don't go too far. So even seniors with shaky hands or reduced vision can use it safely.
And this device does more than just wax removal, correct?
Indeed. The EarSight Ultra X is designed for full ear, nose and throat inspection as well. Thousands of seniors who have tried B-Bird say it's the first time they've felt confident managing this type of care at home, because it's gentle, precise, and doesn't rely on force.
And how can listeners get access to it?
EarSight Ultra X is available through B-Bird's official store. The link is added in the top comment. It actually comes with a 30-day risk-free trial and a 3-year warranty, so there is no reason not to try it out.
Clearing the ears has become so much more approachable thanks to B-Bird. So now that the pathway is clear, doctor, let's move into the first step. What is this 30-second tap exercise that helps us turn down tinnitus?
Well, let me explain how we begin, because this first step is about sending a clear, physical signal to the nervous system. Tinnitus often lingers because the auditory nerve keeps firing without being reset. And this tap exercise gives the brain a new input, something firm and rhythmic, so it can interrupt that loop. It does not rely on force or strength, only timing and precision. And when done correctly, it speaks directly to the nerve that carries sound into the brain.
That already feels different from most advice people hear. I think it sounds less like treating the ear and more like communicating with the brain.
Exactly. And that distinction matters a great deal, especially for seniors. Before any tapping begins, I always ask people to pause and notice the ringing as it is right now. This awareness is important because it gives us a clear starting point. Without that reference, changes are easy to miss.
So to make things clear to everyone, please pay attention before they doing anything physical. So please comment on your rating from a scale of 1 to 10 right now before you do the exercise and right after so we can see your result.
Yes, and once that awareness is there, we move gently into the physical step. So for this, the hands are positioned in a simple way, with the index finger resting over the middle finger. It feels like preparing to snap, but instead of snapping outward, the fingers tap downward.
Where exactly are they tapping? Because I guess we need to be very precise here.
Of course, they tap on the back of the skull along the ridge just behind the ears, an area called the occiput. I often tell people to imagine drawing a line straight back from the ear and resting the fingers there. This location sits close to where the auditory nerve travels upward into the brain.
That helps a lot because vague instructions can make people hesitant. This gives them confidence they are in the right place.
Now, the action itself is very simple and very deliberate. Using that snapping motion, the fingers should tap the skull 20 times in a steady rhythm. Each tap should feel firm but never painful, like knocking gently on a door. The purpose is not to massage or rub, but to send a clear sensory signal upward. Those taps create a brief interruption in the nerve's firing pattern, and it is that interruption that allows the brain to reconsider the sound it has been generating.
So even though it feels almost too simple, there is real neurological intent behind it. But there is more, right?
There is, and simplicity is often where the body responds best. I remind people not to rush and not to add extra force, because more pressure does not mean better results. This is about clarity, not intensity. After the taps, I encourage people to pause again and notice what has changed, even slightly. Sometimes the shift is obvious, and sometimes it is very subtle at first.
That feels reassuring for seniors who worry about doing something wrong.
Yes, and this is where many people are surprised by what happens next. The nervous system often responds in layers rather than all at once. What you notice after the first round is not always the final result. We have to proceed.
That makes me curious, because people often expect instant silence. So what should they be paying attention to as they continue from here?
Well, what matters most in the moments after that first round, it's not to chase silence, but to notice change. Even a small shift tells us the nerve is responding.
That takes some pressure off, especially for seniors who worry they are doing it wrong.
Yes, and that is why the next step is to give the brain a clear reference point. After those 20 taps, we have to rate the sound again on the same scale we have used before. This simple comparison helps the mind recognize progress even if it is subtle.
I would say the takeaway here is that it becomes less about guessing and more about observing, right?
Exactly. And once that comparison is made, we repeat the same tapping again. The body often needs repetition to fully interrupt an old signal. Some people notice change after 1 or 2 rounds, while others need more time. I hear that a lot in seniors, and I remind them that patience is part of the process. Each cycle builds on the last, gently teaching the nerve a new rhythm.
That feels very different from quick fixes people are promised. It sounds more respectful of how the nervous system actually works.
It is, and there is an important reason for continuing. After each round, the brain recalibrates just a little more. Over several cycles, the ringing often loses intensity or sharpness. This gradual change is a sign the system is settling rather than fighting itself. When improvement appears, I encourage every senior trying this to repeat the exercise daily. Not endlessly, but a few times a day, especially when the ringing feels louder. Consistency helps the nervous system remember this quieter state.
That makes sense, especially for those who have lived with this for years. It gives them something practical to return to.
Right, and still, there are moments when the tapping does not bring the change we expect. When that happens, it does not mean the body has failed. It simply tells us there may be another layer involved.
Okay, so what kinds of underlying factors do you start to consider at that point?
Well, let's very quickly discuss how I think about it when the tapping doesn't bring relief right away, because everyone needs to hear this. Often, it points to the health of the nerve itself rather than the signal we are trying to interrupt. In some people, especially as they age, nerves become less responsive because they are not being properly nourished.
That's something many seniors wouldn't immediately connect to ringing in the ears.
Yes, and I hear that a lot in my own patients. When the nervous system is under strain, even a good signal can struggle to travel clearly. In those cases, the tapping has done its job by revealing that the system needs deeper support.
So the exercise becomes a kind of information, not a failure.
Exactly. One common factor I begin to consider is how well the nerves are being supported metabolically. In adults over 60, blood sugar imbalance and insulin resistance can quietly affect nerve function. This doesn't always show up as pain. Sometimes it appears as ringing, tingling, or signals that will not switch off. When that's the case, the solution is not more force, but better nourishment.
That reframes it in a very compassionate way. It makes sure we can stop blaming ourselves when the result isn't immediate.
Yes, but also for this we have a solution. There is a specific nutrient that can become very helpful. There is a form of vitamin B1 that is better absorbed by nerve tissue. It supports the nervous system from the inside rather than trying to override it. In some seniors, this makes the tapping exercise suddenly effective when it wasn't before.
So the body just needed a different kind of support to respond.
That's right. And what I find encouraging is that this approach still respects the body's timing. We are not forcing silence. We are creating conditions where calm becomes possible again.
That feels reassuring, especially for listeners who have tried many things already. It suggests there's still another layer to explore.
And there usually is. When we take care of the pathway, the signal, and the nerve itself, something often shifts. That combination is where real progress tends to happen.
And that combination really starts with making sure the ears themselves are clear, so the body can respond properly.
Exactly. When the ears are clean, the signal can travel clearly, and everything we've discussed today has a chance to work as it should. That's why tools like BeBird are so helpful for seniors who want to take care of this safely at home. So go check them out via the link in the top comment and the description below.
And if this conversation helped you see tinnitus a little differently today, make sure to leave the video with a thumbs up so others can find it too. Oh, and watch this next video right now.
Yes, please.
We've picked this one especially for you.